Leo, if you see ants in your home in the next few days, pause. Don't reach for the spray. Don't call the exterminator. Don't rush to sweep them away or erase their presence as if they were meaningless. Because they're not. They're not just insects. They are signs. They are messengers. And this message is meant only for you. Yes, it might seem strange. Your logical mind may already be whispering, this is nothing, it's just ants. A coincidence. But something deeper inside you, something ancient, something instinctual knows better. That part of you that senses the pulse of the universe, that reads meaning in silence and finds truth in symbols, that part of you knows this is no accident. These ants were sent to your space, to your energy field, to your Leo spirit for a reason. They carry a hidden code, a spiritual algorithm, one that only your consciousness shaped by the fire of Leo can truly unlock. And if you dismiss this sign too quickly, if you shut down your intuitive response, you might miss something life-changing. You might miss the very doorway the universe has been waiting to open for you. So take a breath. Slow down. Feel this moment for what it truly is. Because this is not just about ants. This is about you. Think carefully. When was the last time you noticed ants in your home? Not just once, but truly noticed them? Not brushed them off, not labeled them a pest, but actually paused to wonder why they had come? Go deeper. Can you recall what you were going through in your life at the time? Were you restless, uncertain, on the edge of something you couldn't name? Because that is when they come. They come not when everything is calm and known. They come when your soul is stirring, when something beneath the surface of your routines begins to shift, when you've begun to ask the quiet questions, am I on the right path? Is this all there is? Why do I feel so disconnected from who I used to be? And even if you haven't said those questions out loud, your energy has been asking them, and the universe has answered. Through ants. For some people, the universe speaks in numbers angel codes, repeating themselves on clocks, receipts, signs. For others, it sends dreams, vivid and strange. For a few, it sends people chance meetings, prophetic words, sudden departures. But for you, Leo, right now, in this chapter of your evolution, it is speaking through these tiny beings. Tiny, yes but intentional. Quiet, yes but powerful. And they come with a message that, once understood, cannot be forgotten. Because this message is not about superstition. It is about alignment. It's about a shift in your identity, a turn in your destiny, a calling back to who you really are beneath the masks you've learned to wear. You've always felt different. From the time you were young, you've carried a sense that your life had purpose, an invisible flame inside you that others couldn't always see, but you always felt. That fire has flickered, dimmed, and sometimes nearly gone out under the weight of expectations, failures, disappointments, but it has never died. And now, as the ants arrive, that flame is being stirred again. It is no accident they are coming now at this moment when you are tired of performing, tired of trying to prove something, tired of dimming your light to make others comfortable. It is no accident they are appearing when the structure of your life has started to feel too tight, too familiar, too hollow. Because they are here to say, wake up. Not with a shout, not with lightning, but with tiny footsteps that whisper, you are ready. Ready for what? You might ask. Ready to remember. Ready to rise. Ready to reclaim the life you were always meant to live, and not one driven by the need for attention, but by the power of quiet excellence. Not one fueled by external applause, but by the steady flame of purpose. And this is just the beginning. In the next few minutes, we'll dive deeper into this message. We'll uncover why the ants have chosen you, why they've chosen now, and what they are preparing you to become. But before we continue, I ask only one thing. Stay open. Let go of logic for just a little while. Let your heart listen. Because the transformation that is unfolding is not small. It is not cosmetic. It is soul deep. And once you understand what the ants are truly telling you, you will never see yourself or your life the same way again. Are you ready? They didn't just wander in by chance. They were sent. Not by fate, not by accident, but by something far greater, something that watches over you, that sees beyond the surface of your life and understands exactly where you are in your soul's journey. The ants, Leo, are not a disturbance to be handled. They are a communication to be received. And what they are trying to say is far more powerful than you can imagine. You see, the universe is always speaking, but it doesn't shout. It doesn't always use thunder or signs that everyone can see. For each of us, it whispers in different ways, depending on our energy, our timing, and our readiness to hear. For some, it sends repeating numbers. For others, it brings vivid dreams or sudden encounters. But for you, Leo 4, your fireborn spirit, your solar soulet has chosen a different language. It speaks through these ants. Because you, in your natural brilliance, have a tendency to look toward the big moments, the grand gestures, the applause, the breakthroughs. And there's nothing wrong with that. You were born to shine. But sometimes that search for significance becomes so loud, you miss the quiet miracles already moving through your life. The ants are one of those miracles. They carry in their tiny presence the very lessons you've been avoiding. Lessons about consistency, about humble power, about building something lasting, not through spectacle, but through quiet mastery. And the moment they entered your space, a door opened, a spiritual doorway between your current life and the life your soul is truly craving to live. The ants didn't just arrive to disrupt, they arrived to awaken. Because if you've been honest with yourself, you felt it. That quiet restlessness you can't quite name. That feeling that, even though things may seem fine on the surface, something essential is missing. You've tried to explain it away, maybe you're just bored, or tired, or waiting for the next phase. But it's deeper than that. It's your spirit asking for something more. Not more success, not more money, but more truth, more meaning, more alignment with the fire that burns at your core. And the ants have come to remind you of what you've forgotten, that the foundation of your future is not built in loud moments of glory, but in quiet decisions, made again and again with intention. They show up in patterns, moving with purpose, undistracted by the noise of the world around them. They do not question their value. They do not compare their roles. They simply move, build, serve, every action purposeful, every step sacred. This is your message, Leo. It's time to stop waiting for the perfect moment, the spotlight, the invitation to prove your worth. You've already been chosen. And the ants? They're the confirmation. They appear when a Leo is at the edge of deep transformation, when the external glow begins to fade, and a new kind of inner brilliance is ready to rise. One that doesn't need validation, one that doesn't seek permission, one that simply knows. So, notice how you've been living lately. Are your days built on intention or distraction? Are your actions aligned with your highest purpose? Or are they scattered in search of temporary rewards? The ants ask you to slow down, to observe, to reflect, to remember that greatness is not built in the noise, but in the rhythm. And in the next part of this message, we will begin to understand what their presence truly means in the physical space of your home, and what sacred truths they're pointing to inside the rooms where you live, sleep, and dream. Are you beginning to see them differently now? Good. That means the message is already working. Now, I want you to think about something very specific. Where exactly have the ants shown up? Is it your kitchen? Your bedroom? The living room? The hallway, perhaps? This isn't random. Not at all. The universe is far too precise for that. Every space in your home represents a part of your inner world, your emotions, your dreams, your public self, your private self. So where the ants appear is exactly where the message is most urgent. Let's begin with the kitchen. The kitchen isn't just a room where meals are made. It is the symbolic heart of nourishment, physical, emotional, spiritual. If ants are gathering in your kitchen, they are trying to show you something. You are undernourished, not just in your body, but in your soul. You've been feeding everyone else, caring for others, giving energy, attention, support, but neglecting yourself. Your Leo soul is hungry, not for food, but for experience, for beauty, for inspiration, for connection that fuels your fire instead of draining it. You've been surviving, but you haven't been nourished. The ants are asking, what have you been consuming that leaves you feeling empty? What activities, conversations, habits, or relationships are draining the very fire that makes you who you are? And more importantly, what could you begin to consume that would make you feel alive again? Now, if the ants have appeared in your bedroom, the message goes even deeper. The bedroom is your most sacred personal space. It's where you dream, where you rest, where you shed the performance of the day and return to the truth of who you are. Ants in this space carry a message about your intimate life, not only romantic intimacy, but emotional intimacy with yourself. Have you been neglecting your dreams? Have you silenced desires that once stirred your soul? Have you been pushing aside your own needs, convincing yourself they can wait, that they don't matter, that there's no time? These ants are asking you to remember, you are worthy of softness, of closeness, of peace, and of dreams, too sacred to ignore. The ones you whispered to yourself before sleep but never had the courage to pursue. They're not gone. They've simply been waiting for your permission to rise again. And if the ants have shown up in your living room, the space where you host, where the world sees a version of you, it's a message about your public self. Your image, the mask you wear. Have you been presenting yourself as less than who you truly are? Shrinking, minimizing your light, keeping your brilliance at half power because you've been told it's too much? Or perhaps you've been performing, trying to keep up appearances, trying to be what you think others expect, but it's not real. It's not you. The ants have come to say, enough. Enough hiding, enough pretending, enough apologizing for your magnificence. It's time to show up as your full, radiant self, not to prove anything, not to seek applause, but because your soul was never meant to live small. And if the ants have appeared in multiple places, then the message is even clearer. There is a call for full spectrum transformation. Every part of your life, your body, your dreams, your presence is asking to be reclaimed. So stop swatting the signs away. Pay attention. Because what seems like a small disruption is actually the arrival of something sacred. A turning point. A sacred interruption designed to bring you back into full alignment with who you really are. The ants have come to point you inward, to show you the places where you've been hungry for your own truth, to lead you gently step by step, like they do into a version of your life where every room reflects your authenticity and not your exhaustion. Are you listening now? Good. Because in the next part, we'll uncover why you, Leo in particular, were chosen for this message, and how your birth date holds the key to understanding exactly what is beginning to awaken within you. Now let's go even deeper, because this message, while universal for all Leos, carries a personal frequency based on when you were born within the Leo cycle. The ants have not just come for any reason. They've come with timing, divine timing. And that timing is intimately connected to the specific phase of Leo energy you carry. Because not all Leos are the same. Each carries a slightly different shade of the lion's flame, and the ants are here to activate your unique strand of it. If you were born between the 23rd of July and the 2nd of August, listen closely. You are part of the first decan of Leo, ruled directly by the sun. You carry the raw essence of Leo's fire, radiance, leadership, warmth. But lately, you may have been struggling with how to lead. You've been questioning your influence. You've noticed that the old ways of commanding attention no longer bring fulfillment. And the ants have come to show you a new way, influence through inspiration, not control. They ask you to shift from leading with presence to leading with purpose, to lead in a way that invites others to rise, not just follow. Your light no longer needs to be loud to be seen. In fact, the more quietly you shine from authenticity, the brighter you become. The ants are activating your evolution from charismatic leader to sacred guide. If your birthday falls between the 3rd of August and the 13th of August, your Leo energy is infused with the planet Jupiter, expansive, creative, visionary. And yet, have you felt blocked lately? Like your creativity has been frozen, your imagination dulled, your excitement turned to routine? The ants have come now because your inner artist is ready to awaken. You've been suppressing your genius to fit molds that were never meant for you. You've been creating for approval instead of for truth. And the ants are reminding you, real creativity is built, not blasted into being. It comes through tiny daily acts of devotion, one idea at a time, one brushstroke, one choice. They're showing you how to reclaim the sacred joy of creation, not for applause, but for the aliveness it brings to your spirit. A dormant part of your soul is stretching, yawning, coming back to life. Let it. And for those of you born between the 14th of August and the 22nd of August, your Leo energy carries a touch of Mars the warrior, the protector, the one who defends truth. But with that warrior energy comes vulnerability. You've been battling with your own self-image, wrestling with your worth. Perhaps you've been overcompensating, trying to prove something to the world because, deep down, you've forgotten how magnificent you are. The ants are not here to challenge your strength. They're here to remind you of it. Not the strength that roars, but the kind that endures. The quiet self-respect that doesn't need permission or comparison. They're calling you to reclaim your identity, not the one shaped by expectation or performance, but the one rooted in self-honor. In remembering that you are worthy just as you are, not because of what you achieve, but because of who you are being. No matter when your birthday falls, all Leos are being invited into a deeper truth now. Real power is not loud. It doesn't need to prove. It doesn't seek constant validation. It radiates from within. The ants are here to shift your paradigm from chasing to attracting, from proving to becoming, and this transformation won't happen in one dramatic moment. It will come through daily devotion to a new way of being. A way that honors your Leo light, but channels it with wisdom, humility, and consistency. The ants do not race ahead to be seen. They move with rhythm. They trust the process. They work in silence, and yet they build empires underground. What if that's what your life is becoming? An empire of purpose, built slowly, soulfully, hidden now, but soon impossible to ignore. We'll explore exactly what that looks like in the next part. But for now, breathe. Let this truth settle in you. Let it burn slowly, like a fire being reignited, not with sparks, but with certainty. Because the moment you understand this message, you'll never see your life or your leadership the same way again. So now you know this isn't about insects. This is about identity. It's about the quiet revolution beginning inside you, one that no one else may notice at first, but that will ultimately change everything. The ants have come as symbols, yes, but also as mirrors. They reflect back to you all the parts of yourself that you've forgotten, overlooked, or dismissed as too small to matter. And yet, it is in the small things where your greatness is being reborn. You, Leo, have always reached for the stars. Your soul is wired to dream boldly, to lead, to shine in ways that few dare to. But what the ants are here to teach you is that even the brightest star must be anchored to something stable, something real, something built, not just imagined. Because the truth is, transformation does not happen in explosions. It happens in layers, one intention at a time, one decision at a time, one quiet step forward, taken without applause, repeated again and again until one day you look up and realize you've become unrecognizable to the version of yourself that once struggled to believe in more. That is the magic of the ants. They don't announce their work. They don't need recognition. They simply build. Over time, their seemingly insignificant efforts become something massive, complex, beautiful, sustainable. This is the path the universe is asking you to walk. Now, not the flashy road, not the quick win, but the sacred, steady journey toward becoming who you were always meant to be. And this is where the shift begins. You may have spent so much of your life trying to be seen, trying to prove your worth, to be loved, applauded, admired, and perhaps you've even tasted those moments of recognition, those flashes of validation that felt like lightning bolts to your soul. But then, they faded, and you were left hungry again, wondering why it didn't last. The ants are here to show you a different way. They are asking you to stop chasing light, and instead, become the source of it. To focus not on how many people see you, but on what they feel when they do. And even more than that, on how you feel when no one is watching. When the room is silent, when the stage is empty, when it's just you, your breath, your intention, your craft. This is the birthplace of true power. And here's what may surprise you. The moment you stop trying to impress others, you will naturally become more impressive. When you stop needing to be noticed, your energy will begin to draw others in like a flame in the dark, not because you asked for it, but because your presence will be undeniable. Leo, you were never meant to fight for attention. You were meant to embody it, not through force, but through focus. Not through loudness, but through alignment. This is the new kind of leadership rising within you. A leadership that doesn't depend on external approval, but radiates from the inside out because it is grounded in truth, not ego. And the truth is this: you've always been powerful. You've always been radiant. You've always had something to offer that no one else could. But now, it's time to offer it from a place of authenticity, not performance. It's time to build the life that reflects your inner royalty, not the one that performs for a throne that was never yours to begin with. And so, the ants continue their gentle march through your space. Not to annoy, not to disturb, but to awaken. They are reminding you every time you see them that the journey ahead is not about speed, it is not about applause, it is about substance. Are you beginning to feel it? That pull away from noise and toward meaning? That inner shift from needing to be seen to being seen because you've become someone worth truly witnessing? That's not by accident. That's evolution. And in the next part, we'll begin to explore the deeper spiritual mechanics of how the ants are guiding you toward a new kind of abundance zone that is built not on effort, but on energetic alignment. Stay with me, because what's coming next may just shift the way you see everything, from how you lead, to how you live, to how you love. Now let's talk about something that lives beneath the surface of all of this. Abundance. Not the fleeting kind, not the rush of a payday, or the thrill of someone noticing you, or the temporary satisfaction of success that doesn't feel fully earned. Number. We're talking about true abundance, the kind that lasts, the kind that nourishes your soul, the kind that builds empires, not just moments. And once again, Leo, it is the ants who have come to teach you about it. Because look closely, how do ants operate? They always know where to find what they need. They work efficiently, with focus, never wasting time or energy. They don't hoard, but they don't lack. They are resourceful, strategic, and deeply attuned to the rhythm of seasons. And they they thrive in almost any environment because of one sacred truth. They understand that abundance is not about accumulation. It's about alignment. And this is the wisdom they are offering you now. You see, Leo, as the natural ruler of the heart, you give with fire. You love with intensity. You pour yourself out with passion. But sometimes you overextend. You waste energy on people who don't see you, projects that drain you, choices that come from ego, not essence. You chase things that look abundant but leave you feeling empty. And slowly, subtly, you begin to question whether abundance was ever meant for you at all. But it was. It is. The problem isn't you, it's the way you've been seeking. The ants are here to shift your relationship with prosperity from a frantic pursuit to a grounded embodiment. They're asking you to stop forcing results and instead begin to align with what's already meant for you. They're reminding you that when you live with rhythm, when your actions are intentional, your relationships reciprocal, your energy sacred, you naturally draw in more than enough, because your life becomes fertile soil for blessings to grow. And here's the beautiful paradox. The moment you stop trying so hard to be impressive, you become magnetic. The moment you stop chasing success, it begins to flow toward you. Why? Because your energy no longer leaks. It becomes focused, pure, purposeful. That's what ants represent. The power of concentrated energy. Imagine for a moment if you gave your time and focus only to the things that truly matter. If you protected your energy like it was royal property, because it is. If you stopped overgiving just to be liked and started giving from overflow, not desperation, your world would change. Instantly, your relationships would become clearer because you'd no longer accept what drains you. Your finances would become steadier because your efforts would be aligned with wisdom, not reaction. Your path would unfold with grace because you'd stop pushing and start allowing. This is the path of sacred abundance. And Leo, you were born for this. You were never meant to live in scarcity. You were never meant to hustle for love or validation. You were born to radiate so clearly, so authentically, that everything you need begins to gather around you, just as the ants gather resources around their queen, not because she demands, but because her role is clear, her presence steady, her purpose unwavering. So I ask you now, what are you spending your energy on? Where are you scattering your focus, your passion, your fire? And what would happen if you began to pull all of that sacred fire back into your center? You are not here to be burnt out by your own brilliance. You are here to channel it. And the ants, those quiet messengers walking through your space, they've come to guide you back to the kind of power that lasts. In the next part, we'll go even deeper into what it means to reclaim your leadership not as a performance, but as a spiritual calling. You've led with charisma. Now it's time to lead with soul. Because your kingdom is not out there, it's inside you. And it's time to rise. And now, Leo, we arrive at the deeper revelation. Leadership, not the kind the world teaches. Not the kind that demands to be followed or shouts to be heard, but the kind that arises organically through presence, through truth. The ants have come to shift your understanding of what it truly means to lead. Because for far too long, leadership has been confused with control, with power over others, with needing to always be first, loudest, brightest. And yes, Leo, you were born under the sun for a reason. Your light is real. Your influence undeniable. But the ants are here to show you that the most powerful leaders don't lead by force. They lead by example. And this is your invitation now, to step into a new kind of leadership hone that doesn't rise from ego, but from essence. One that doesn't require applause, but earns respect in silence. One that inspires not through demands, but through integrity. Because the truth is, people are watching you, even when you don't realize it. They're watching how you respond to disappointment, how you carry yourself when things don't go your way, how you treat others when no one's looking, how you show up when there's nothing to gain. And this is where your royalty is revealed, not in moments of celebration, but in moments of challenge. Not when the spotlight is on, but when it's off. That's where the real leaders are born. And what do the ants show us? They don't boast. They don't compete. They don't need recognition. Each one does their part with full devotion, fully aware that they are contributing to something greater than themselves. They lead not as individuals, but as a collective of purpose. And yet each one still knows their role. Each one holds their position with clarity and pride. They are part of a larger intelligence, yet never lose their identity. Leo, you've been taught that leadership means doing it all, carrying it all, proving it all. But the ants are here to teach you a different truth. You don't have to carry everything to lead. You just have to carry your part and carry it with care, with consistency, and with courage. You see, true royalty doesn't sit on a throne and wait to be served. True royalty serves something greater, a purpose, a vision, a legacy. And you, Leo, are stepping into that era now. The era of inspired leadership, the era of impact, not performance, the era of depth, not show. This is where your magnetism multiplies. Because when people sense that you're rooted in something real, something timeless, they trust you. They follow you not because you ask them to, but because they feel safe in your presence, because they feel seen, because your light doesn't blind eat guides. And you can only offer that kind of light when you've faced your shadows, when you've stopped leading from insecurity and started leading from love. So let the ants teach you this final truth. You are not here to dominate. You are here to inspire. You are not here to shine over others. You are here to ignite them. And the more you release the need to be everything, the more you become the leader your soul was always destined to be. Let go of the throne. Let go of the performance. Let go of the heaviness of always having to be on, and come back to what's real. Your wisdom, your rhythm, your authenticity, In the next part, we'll begin to explore what happens when you fully surrender to this new rhythm of being and how that shift begins to transform not just your relationships and your career, but the very way you see yourself. Because everything you've ever wanted to become is already within you. The ants just came to remind you. So now, Leo, what happens when you accept the invitation? When you stop resisting the signs, stop trying to silence the restlessness, and instead, listen? The answer is both simple and profound. You begin to remember who you truly are, not the version you've tried to become for others, not the image you crafted to be admired or accepted, but the real youth, the one who was always there beneath the noise. This is the most sacred part of your journey, the moment where transformation stops being a concept and begins to take root inside your body, your mind, your soul. Because once the ants have delivered their message, once you've truly received it, something inside you begins to shift. Your energy changes, not dramatically, not with fanfare, but slowly, deeply, in a way that becomes impossible to reverse. You begin to care less about how you're being perceived and more about how you're being aligned. You stop performing and start embodying. You stop striving and start radiating. And Leo, when you live from this place, when you are deeply anchored in your truth, no longer rushing, no longer shrinking, everything around you begins to respond. People see you differently. Opportunities appear seemingly from nowhere. You feel more grounded, more present, more magnetic, because you're no longer fragmented. You're no longer leaking energy into proving or pleasing or pretending. This is the true Leo frequency, embodied presence. You don't need to chase the light when you are the light. And the most powerful part, you no longer need anyone to validate you, because your worth becomes self-evident. Not arrogant, not loud, but clear. Clear in the way you speak, clear in the way you walk into a room, clear in the way you choose your relationships, your boundaries, your dreams. This clarity becomes your compass, and the world, it responds. Not because you forced it to, but because the universe always aligns with truth. This is what the ants have come to show you, that you don't need to build your empire with noise and exhaustion. You need to build it with rhythm, with respect for yourself, with quiet excellence repeated day after day after day, until one day you look up and the life around you has become a mirror of your inner wholeness. And Leo, it's closer than you think, because the fire within you, it never went out. It was just waiting for your permission to burn in a new way. Not wildly, but wisely. Not to consume, but to illuminate. This is not about becoming someone new. It's about becoming more you than you've ever allowed yourself to be. And if you've been asking, when will things change? When will it be my time? When will I finally feel like I've arrived? The answer is, the moment you decide to come home to yourself, because that is when the world begins to rise up to meet you. And the ants? They're not here by accident. They showed up in your space because you're ready. Ready to stop searching outside. Ready to stop settling for shallow validation. Ready to step into your next chapter not with drama, but with devotion. In the final part, we'll bring all of this together, because once you understand how to live this message, every step you take from now on will carry the power of purpose, of patience, and of presence. And Leo, when you walk like that, there's no force in the universe that can deny you. And now, Leo, we arrive at the end. But it's not really an end, is it? Because what's been set in motion inside you will continue to unfold long after this message fades from your ears. You see, this wasn't just about ants in your home. It was never about that. It was about a sacred conversation between your soul and the universe. A message that came disguised in tiny footprints across your floor, but carried the weight of destiny in every step. The ants were never a problem to be solved. They were a signal, a whisper in the stillness, a wake-up call sent by the divine to say, it's time. Time to stop pretending you're satisfied with half-light. Time to stop pouring your power into places that cannot hold it. Time to stop making yourself small so others can feel more comfortable. Leo, you were not born for invisibility. You were not born to be misunderstood, overlooked, or contained. You were born to lead, to inspire, to build something lasting not from ego, but from essence. And that journey begins not with a grand performance, but with a single decision: to honor yourself, to trust the rhythm of the work no one sees, to protect your energy as if it were sacred currency because it is, to lead with grace, not with the hunger for recognition, to shine because it is your nature, not because someone gave you permission. So when the ants appear again, and they will, don't just reach for a broom or call for extermination. Pause. Breathe. Watch. Let their presence remind you of the quiet empire you are building. Let their persistence echo the beat of your own becoming. Let their rhythm guide you back to your own sacred pace. Because everything you long for is already within reach. Not because you have to chase it, but because you are finally aligned to receive it. In Leohin, you are aligned. The universe doesn't hesitate. It moves mountains for you. It opens doors you never saw coming. It rearranges reality to mirror your inner clarity. But that clarity begins with you. It begins when you stop asking who you need to become to be worthy, and start asking how you can return to the truth of who you already are. The ants came to remind you of that truth. They came to show you the power of quiet excellence, the wisdom of strategic patience, the abundance that flows from energetic alignment, the leadership that radiates from embodied presence. And now, the rest is up to you. You can go back to life as it was before this message, or you can choose to carry it with you into every room, every conversation, every quiet moment. Because the transformation they herald isn't dramatic. It's consistent. It's spiritual. It's yours. So go ahead, Leo. Step forward not with noise, but with knowing. Led not from a throne, but from the heart. Shine not to be seen, but because you are finally home. And when others wonder how you became so grounded, so magnetic, so powerful, you'll simply smile and think of the ants, the tiny messengers who came not to disrupt your life, but to guide you back to your divine path. Your time has come, Leo. Now, build it, live it, be it. And now, beloved Leo, just breathe. Breathe in all that you've remembered. Breathe in the truth that was never lostly waiting for a sign, waiting for a message, waiting for you. And now, you've received it. The ants were never just a symbol. They were a summoning, a sacred activation of the parts of you that had gone dormant. The inner builder, the quiet leader, the consistent visionary, the true royal. You may not feel like everything has changed, but something has. Because now, you can't go back to sleep. You've seen too clearly, felt too deeply, understood too fully. You now know that your life is not meant to be rushed through or performed. It is meant to be crafted with intention, with rhythm, with meaning. No more searching outside for validation. No more chasing light in all the wrong places. No more shrinking so others won't feel small in your presence. You have stepped into a new chapter own where your greatness is not a question, but a certainty. And all of it began with the smallest of signs, because that's how the universe works with those it loves most deeply. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It sends ants across your floor. It places restlessness in your heart. It lets you feel the ache of more, not to torture you, but to wake you. And you, Leo, you answered that call. You stood still. You listened. You opened your heart not just to the message, but to the metamorphosis. And that changes everything. So here you are now, on the other side of remembering, wiser, quieter, stronger, more whole. And while the path ahead is still being revealed, you now walk it with a power that can't be taken because it comes from within. Let the others chase attention. Let the world rush and clamor and shout. You will move differently now. You will build with purpose. You will speak with impact. You will shine with authenticity. You will love with fullness. And most of all, you will lead, not from above, but from within. Because true kings and queens don't need crowns. They walk in their own light. They radiate. They remember. So when the ants come again, and they will, don't brush them away. Bow your head in quiet thanks. They were never here to invade. They were here to initiate. This is your moment, Leo. The throne is not out there, it's been inside you all along. Now rise. Quietly, unshakably, as only you can. You are not waiting for your destiny anymore. You are living it.